Good morning, TikTok friends. Can everybody hear me okay? Happy Thursday. Hopefully, these microphones are working this morning. I've had some technical difficulties. My bird feeder live stream and my deer camera, all of those had to be reset this morning. I think we've got a little gremlin action in the wires here. So, I don't know. But anyhow, I am over on YouTube this morning as well as on TikTok. And today we're going to be working on these little flower squares. They're so pretty. And I know a lot of beginners need some help with this. So I thought, well, let's make some flower squares. But the most exciting thing this morning, guys, is I picked the winner of the blocking board for the 10,000 follower celebration. And that was Donna Dandy. And I sent Donna a message this morning. But Donna is the big winner of the blocking board. So thank you, Donna, for all of your support. And everybody else here, thank you so much for your support. Hitting 10,000 was really amazing. So anyhow, I hope everybody's having a great day. I got to clean my glasses here real quick, folks. Like I said, I'm a little bit struggling this morning, but we're going to get into these squares, and you're going to really enjoy these. If you've not made the flower square, it's very easy. I don't know what these are technically called. What are they technically called? Everybody does these squares. They're great for market bags and all sorts of stuff. Oh, that's better. I can see now. Mic is wonky. Okay, let me try to reposition it. Is this any better for the mic? Let me know. I might have to restart it. Like I said, we've had some like electrical type stuff happen today. My Xbox was messed up. I had to redo it this morning. And is that mic any better? Hey, Amanda. Good morning. So anyhow, hey Sue, good morning. Pam's in the house. Frostbit, good morning. Gen X and Anvil are here, our mods. Thank you guys so much for being here. Queen 530 is in the house. Good morning, everybody. So anyhow, is yes, it's not crackling now. Okay, great. If anybody's over on YouTube, Deborah or Sue, how does the mic sound this morning? Everything good over there on YouTube? And we're going to get started. So I have a few different colors of yarn I pulled out of the stash. So the first one I have is this beautiful pink. And this is Big Twist Value. All of these I'm going to use a size H8, and they all are a 4 medium weight, but I'm mixing together different yarns. So this one is the colorway Magenta, Big Twist. So for this square, I did it for this outer row. Now we can, I might do it for this flower as well. We'll just see how it goes. You guys can all pick the colors. It's totally fine, but these are the only ones I have handy. Now the yellow, excuse me, I had this Caron 1 pound. And this one is also a 4 weight, H8 and medium. And this is colorway Sun Yellow. So again, really pretty. And then finally, we have our big twist. This is this variegated yarn that I'm using, and I just thought it might be kind of fun for the center. I thought it might be fun to do the center, some of them with the variegated, and then some of them just have the center like this solid pink. Maybe have one of these even yellow and then kind of mix and match them is kind of what I was thinking. But this big twist, I only have this one skein of it. It's really pretty, and it is colorway Warm Brights. It's kind of an interesting name, I thought. I wouldn't have thought that for a name. So anyhow, and then I'm also using the white, and that's just the white that I always have next to my chair. This is the Red Heart Jumbos in the colorway white, not the soft white. I do use both, but this morning it'll be the white color. So let me get that over here closer to me. And like I said, I just keep these kind of on my hanging spindle. You guys have seen those. So just plain old white. Okay, so like I said, we need a size. Uh, is anybody going to make this with me this morning? Let me ask that. I think it would be fun. So again, 8H hook, right? Is that what I said? My attention this morning is, yeah, US 8. Okay. So I'm going to start with this yellow. Okay. Now you can do these centers two different ways, and we'll do them a couple different ways. You can start with a magic ring, or you can start with like a chain of three. So, anyhow, either way, whatever you're comfortable with. If you want to start with a magic ring, I'll show you how I make my magic ring. I get it set up like I hold my yarn, okay? And then let me zoom in a little bit over here on YT. Then I yarn over and pull down a loop, okay? And you can see they're crisscrossed here. This TikTok is a little low. Hang on, guys. Let me adjust you TikTokers up a little bit so you can see better. Okay, let's try this again. You guys weren't really on frame here. Like I said, I've got these two cameras going this morning. Okay, so we yarn over and I pull my hook down forward like this and I create a crisscross here. Okay, then into the center of this magic ring, we're going to place these double crochets. So the first thing I do is I take my hook and I yarn over, and I do this twice. So I put two loops on my hook. Then I go down into the center of my magic ring and I draw up a loop. So now I have three loops on my hook. You keep holding this center ring here. And then I yarn over and pull through two, and yarn over and pull through two. So for me, this is like a standing double crochet, if you will. And that's how I start my magic ring. Okay. Now, into this magic ring, we need, I think, a total of 16 of these. I got to count. I don't remember. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yep, 16. Okay. So that's our first one. Now, all I'm going to do, I'm going to work over this tail here. You can see it hanging down. And I'm just going to work over these two strands, and I'm going to place 15 more double crochets. And we need a total of 16 of these. Okay, so just a regular old double crochet into the middle here. And then when we get to 16, I cinch this up and close the magic ring. Now, sometimes if this gets a little big, see how it's kind of stretched out here? I'll pull this up mid crochet and kind of pull that together and get this more working size. Okay, so it's easier to hang on to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to join with a slip stitch into this very top stitch here. So I put my hook under both bars, then I grab up a loop, and then I just draw it through the other. Okay, and that is our center. And then if we're done with that, we can pull this little tail and cinch this up. Now, if you do it the way that I do it, you have to keep an eye on your first chain as you're doing it here, and make sure you don't pull it too tight. If you pull it too tight, it will kind of get a little wonky, that stitch, because of how that was a standing crochet. Okay, so that's one way to make your centers. Okay, now I'm going to pull this all out, because we like to frog over here in April land and do things a bunch of times, a bunch of different ways, just to experiment, right? So let's say you don't like making a magic ring. You can do a ring of like some chains. Okay, so let's do how many chains do you guys usually like to do for the center of your flowers? Is it 3 chains? Is it 4 chains? Is it 2 chains? How many do you like to do? Everybody's saying 4 or 3. So here's 3. Okay. And then what we would do is we'd go back into this first chain here, and then we would do another single crochet. Okay. Now that becomes the center of our flower. So that's if you were to do 3. Okay. Again, there's lots of different ways to do this. Okay. Now, if you do 4, some people like to do 4. That's totally cool. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now again, I like to go into the back bump and then do a single crochet. So that gives you a little more room to work in. Now, the difference between doing 3 and 4 is when you have the center of your flower here. If you do 4 chains, this center part is going to be more open. If you do 3, it'll be, of course, smaller. But let's do 4 just because that's what I've got on my hook now. Okay, so now for our first double crochet, we need to do a chain. And I'm going to do a chain of 2. You can also do a chain of 3. I like a chain of 2 better. Now into the center of that ring, we're going to add the rest of our double crochets. So again, this chain that I did, that's going to count as my first one, but we need a total of 16 of these. Okay. So let me work my way around the middle. Now, one of the things about doing, you might ask yourself, well, why would I want to do a magic ring versus a chain, right? That I think would be a question people would ask. And a lot of people will make the argument that when you do a chain center, it is stronger and not going to unravel. So if you're doing a blanket that calls for a square to kind of start with this will be stronger and have less potential to unravel. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We need one more here. Okay, so there is number 16. Now again, I'm just going to join to the top here with a slip stitch, and I'm pretty much done with this yellow yarn now. We're going to be moving to the white, so we're going to start on this white here. So I'm going to go ahead and snip off, and then I'm going to add the white yarn. Okay, so we'll just cinch that up. Now, obviously, you're going to want to take the time to weave in your tails. I'm notorious for not weaving in my tails, but you'll definitely want to do that. I did weave in the middle of my tails before, but you can see I've got lots of tails here on this square. Okay, so now we're going to start with our white yarn. And I'm going to start with a slip knot on my hook. Now, you could also, tie off however you want to do this, but I'm going to do a standing crochet. So basically what we have done here in between each of these little spindles, right, our double crochets, we're working these white stitches. And I did a 2 together double crochet for these. Now, some people will do a 3 together. However you want to do it is totally fine. But in this case, I did 2 together double crochets. And so basically, instead of working in the top of your stitch here, I am working in between those posts. So I'm going to start with a standing double crochet, and I'm going to go through 2, and then I'm just going to hold. I'm not going to finish that stitch. Then I'm going to do a second double crochet, again holding, and then when you have 3 loops on your hook, you yarn over and pull through all 3. So there is my 2 together double crochets. Okay, now if you don't want to do that, you could do this another way. You could go into this stitch here and do a single crochet, and then you could do a chain of 1. Now into this same space, start a double crochet, and then yarn over and pull through both of these. This would totally work fine as well. You could also do a chain of 3 here. However you want to get this started is fine. But I'm going to do my standing double crochet. So for those that need to know how to do a standing double crochet, I start with a slip knot on my hook. You can see it here. Now I need to wrap my yarn around and get a second loop on my hook. If you do not secure this tail, you can see I'm holding it here between my 2 fingers. What will happen is this yarn will spin off, and you will have a hard time keeping this loop on your hook. So the way that I do this is I hold my tail between my middle or my pointer finger here and my thumb. Okay, then I wrap it around, and now I'm still holding this tail. I go down into that space, and now I have to free up this hand. See how this hand is holding this tail? I can't crochet like this. So what I do is I bring this hand forward and I transfer the job of holding this tail to this thumb. If you let this go, again, it will spin off. Okay, so now he's the holder, and that frees up my hand that now I can do my crochet. So here I have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, and pull through 2. That's how I do my double crochets. So then here's my second double crochet. Now I'm going to yarn over and go through all 3 of those loops. That is my 2 together double crochet. Now we're going to go into the next stitch here, and we're going to do again 2 together double crochets. So I yarn over, pull through 2. Again, I'm holding this. Do not finish this double crochet. Now we're going to do a second double crochet. Start one into that same exact space, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. So now you can see I've got 3 loops on my hook. You know what? Did I do a chain in between these? I think I did. Yeah, I did. Hang on, we got to rewind this. Get your little frogs ready. Time for more froggies. Do a chain 1 here. Okay, space this apart. Let's do this over again. Hey, Becky, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. I can't believe this week is flying by so fast. Okay, so we're back to where we were. So now you've got 3 loops on your hook. Now you're going to yarn over and pull through all 3. Okay, so there's our second little 2 together double crochet. Now we're going to chain 1. Now into this space here, we're going to do another 2 together double crochet. So start your double crochet, go right down into that space, grab up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Again, we're just going to hold this. Do not finish. Okay, now again, back into that same space, do another double crochet, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're back to 3 loops on our hook, and now we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3. Chain 1. Now we're going to move into this next space here, and we're going to continue repeating this all the way around, and we're going to end up with a total of 16 of these little white petals. And then we're going to come back and add the next row of color. Okay, so for those that are just joining on, good morning, good morning. This is what we are working on. Okay, so we're making just a little granny square flower. We just finished the yellow center. Now we're working on this row of white, and we're doing these 2 together double crochets. Okay, so here we're going to do a chain of 1. Now again, into this space here, don't go in the top, go right in between those 2 stitches and put your double crochet. Yarn over, pull through 2. Now hold, do not finish that stitch. Now we're going to do another double crochet right back into that space, grab up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through 2. Now we have 3 loops on our hook, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So Horseplay said, I noticed you do some yarn under. Does it make a difference in how the stitch looks? So here's the thing. I learned to crochet 40 years ago. And when I learned, we didn't have YouTube or any of that kind of social media or anything like that. So I learned from my mom and my grandma. And Mama Wheeler is here on the chat. That's my mom. Now my grandma has passed, but that's where I learned from. And back then, we didn't have discussions about yarning over and yarning under. And so I kind of just do my own thing. Now, here's the thing. What we're talking about, guys, if you're wondering what we're talking about. I yarn over, okay? So what this means is you can see when I put this loop on my hook, the yarn is sitting on top of my hook. That's a yarn over. It's coming over the top. I go down into this space, and you should yarn over, put the yarn on the top of your hook and pull up a loop, and then yarn over and make that stitch. Okay. The way that I do it, I'll do my next one side by side so we can see them. I yarn over, then I go down into my work, and instead of going like this, I grab it like this, which technically, if you look at this, the yarn is going underneath my hook. Okay, so I pull it through like this, and then I yarn over and pull through too. So yes, these stitches do look a smidge different if you do a yarn under or a yarn over. Um, I believe that there really are no rules for crochet. And so if you are comfortable doing a yarn under or a yarn over, however you do that, you need to do it consistently. So this old brain, after 40 years of crocheting, it is not going to relearn how to do these stitches. I think I could try, but I think it would be more of a frustration. uh, I don't think it really impacts it that much. And so that's how I think about crochet. Now, again, that's just my opinion. Everybody has a different opinion, but I've got some yarn tangled up here. Let me get this red out of my situation. So that's my explanation of why I do it kind of the way that I do it. But technically, no, I do not do it quote correct, because I do a yarn under instead of a yarn over. Now, some people that do a lot of amigurumis, they will say that a yarn under is better. So it really just depends on your personal preference. But like I said, I learned this so many years ago. I don't think there's any hope for me changing. And really, in the scheme of things, if you want to look, I don't think it really impacts my stitches that much. Um, I don't know. It is one of those things. It for me, it's not a big deal. So I hope that helps to answer the question. But is this TikTok focusing, or does it look all like fuzzy? I think YouTube looks good, but I don't know about how TikTok looks. Um, so anyhow, and thank you guys all for the follows. For those that don't know me, my name is April, and I'm just a hobby crocheter. I come on live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings. And I come on at 7 Central Time. And I stay on until 8:30. And then I hop off. I have a full-time job. And so I hop off at 8:30, and I have to be at work at 9. I live in Alabama, but I do work remote in Arizona. And so that allows me time in the mornings to come on here and crochet with friends and chat and everything. So if you're new to my channel, that's a little bit about me. Now, guys, we know I don't want to get into a whole politics thing here, but let me just say, in the event of a TikTok shutdown, okay, which we all know is very possible, it is possible. I don't know if it's going to happen. None of us know. I am live over on YouTube. Okay. I'm already live. I'm all set up on that platform. So please, if you want to continue to follow me over on YouTube. My handle is Wheeler 8 Acres, same as my TikTok. Now, also on the link tree, there's a link tree over on YT if you're watching me there, usually in the description of the video. However, this morning was a little wonky, and there's not going to be one until later. But on TikTok, if you click on the little dog up here in the corner, that will fly a bar up the bottom. You can click on the dog again, and that will take you to my TikTok profile. From there, you will see an HTTPS link tree. On the link tree, there is links to our Discord, which is our chat server. There are links to um, our favorited, and I have set up an account on favorited, and I need more followers on favorited to be able to go live over on that platform. So again, that is a possibility, but also YouTube. I think the link is there as well. That's a great place to follow me as well. Okay, so lots of possibilities. I'm also on Book of Faces, Instagram, all of those. You can find me under Wheeler 8 Acres, but my name is April Wilson on Facebook. And I know some of you guys have started following me over there. And I got to say, it's kind of cool to see everybody's like real name. All you OGs that are here with me all the time that I see, like Gen X girl followed me yesterday, and I'm like, oh, that's her name. So that was kind of cool too. So I enjoyed that. Okay, guys, we've finished. We now have, we should count these, but we should have 16 of these white stitches, okay, of the two together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Okay, so 16 is very important because we're going to make this into a square. Anvil said the Discord link is not working this morning. I will update it when I get off the live. My phones are tied up, but we'll definitely get that updated for you guys. So on my last one, I chained one, and now I'm going to join with a slip stitch to my very first one that I did here. Okay. So I just do a little slip stitch, and then I'm going to tie off with this white. Okay, so we're going to snip off, and I'm going to switch to a different color now. Okay, so there is our little white center. Again, this is what we're making, guys. So here is our white that we just did. We did our yellow center. Now this is a chain of 3 center, or excuse me, this is a chain of 4 center that we did. This is a slip stitch. Okay, so you could do it either way, would be totally fine. You could do a chain of 3 here as well if you would like to do a chain of 3. Either way works fine. Into the very center, I did 16 of the yellow double crochets. Then I came back with the white, and in between each of those double crochets, I did a 2 together double crochet and kind of made these little clusters. Okay, that's what these are. Now I'm going to come back with this colored yarn, and I'm going to add in between these stitches here. Okay, so here is the variegated yarn. This is Big Twist Value, and this is the colorway Warm Brights. All of the yarn that I'm using today is a 4-weight yarn, 100% acrylic, and I'm using a size H8 hook. That is what it calls for. The count on the white stitches, you end up with a total of 32, but they are technically 16, and they're 2 togethers. So there's 16 of these little groups here. Okay. Now we're going to do these petals, and there's 16 of these little petals. So 16, 16, and 16. And when we do these little petals, you can see here we're going to do a same thing we did here with the 2 together, except we're going to do 4 together. Okay, so let me get my yarn here. I'm going to start with a slip knot on my hook. And I am going to do a standing double crochet. So the way that I do this is I hold the tail between my 2 fingers here, and I yarn over. Now I'm going to go into this space in between. We're not working on the top. Once again, we're working right in between these groups. I bring my hand forward, and I transfer the job of holding the tail to Mr. Thumb here. I have, you can see, still 2 loops on my hook. If you let go of this tail, this stitch will spin off. I grab up a loop, I yarn over and pull through 2. Now I do not finish this double crochet. I just hold this and do not finish. Now I can let this thumb holding job go. Now into this same stitch, I need to start 3 more double crochets. So yarn over right into the space, grab up a loop. Yes, it is a variant of the Sunburst Granny. So then I yarn over and pull through 2, again holding. Yarn over, go right back down into that space, grab up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, again holding. We're just collecting these loops on the top of our hook here. Okay, now we're going to yarn over and right back down into that stitch or into that space, grab up a loop. So now we have, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches here on our hook. We have a total of 5 loops up on top, counting our very first one. and then I yarn over and I pull through all 3. Then I chain 1, and I can't remember if I chained 1 or 2 here. Let's try to look. I did chain another one. So I chained 1 to lock it in, and then I chained another. And now I'm going to repeat this right into the next space. So we have our first little petal here, and now we're going to do the exact same thing. We need 4 together double crochet. So I start my first double crochet, yarn over, pull through 2, again holding, right back down in, do another one. Again, don't finish, just holding. Here's number 3, again holding, and number 4. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches. We have our original loop on our hook here. Now we're going to yarn over and pull through all 5 loops. Chain 1 to lock it in, chain 1 to move to the next stitch. So now we're going to move again into this space here. Hey, Gen X girl, good morning. Yarn over, pull through 2, holding. Here's number 2. Let me pull out some yarn here, guys. Again, holding. Here's number 3. Holding. And number 4. Yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so now we have our 4 unfinished double crochets, our original starting loop, total of 5 loops on our hook. And now we're going to yarn over and pull through all 5. Chain 1 to lock it in, chain 1 to move to the next space. And we're just going to keep repeating this all the way around until we have a total of 16 of these petals. So I'm going to go a little faster. When I get towards the end, we can slow it down again. But I want to be able to show this entire square through the live. So I want to make sure I'm moving along here. Okay, but these are called 4 together double crochets. I think they're also called double crochet clusters. Are they called clusters? Anybody have a thought on that? No, Lolo Moon. I just made this up. Now I am live streaming. For those that don't know, I'm live streaming over on YouTube as well. So when I get done with this live at the end of today, in the next couple days, you'll be able to go back and rewatch this on YT, the video, and be able to follow along there. But there's no written pattern. I a lot of times just make this stuff up, and I don't read or write patterns. So I just sit down and start crocheting, and then I come on here and share with you guys, and then people go over on my YT and watch it after the fact if they want to make it. Uh, uh, Galleries, is it Henwalk? I hope I pronounced that right. Henwalk Gallery said, yes, they are clusters. A lot of times I don't know all of the terms of crochet too. I think a lot of it comes from I don't read patterns. So I just do these stitches. I'm kind of bad. I'm kind of a rebel crocheter, I think, is what it comes down to. I tend to break some of the rules. I tend to just do what comes naturally, and sometimes it's not exactly quote by the book. These guys will tell you I'm a little bit that way. So anyhow, that's kind of what you get. But thank you guys all for the new followers. For those that don't know, my name is April, and I do come on live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings. I messed this one up. See how this stitch slid off here? Can you guys see this mess up? I got to pull this back. I'm going to try to save it without redoing these stitches. So I'm going to pull this little loop back off this one. And then I'm going to slide these all back on. So now it's correct. So you can see how I fixed that. We've got 5 now. Yarn over and then pull through all. Boy, you guys, your names this morning, guys, are giving me a challenge. Calatebra said I'm the same way. Sorry if I'm sure I mispronounced that. Some of your all's handles are very creative and they make it hard for me to say them. But if you are a new follower and you're not familiar with me, my name is April. And like I said, I come on live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings at 7. I'm just a hobby crocheter. Now, in the event, I don't want this to get all political and all that. I know there's a lot of creators talking about this, but in the event that TikTok does shut down, you can follow me on YouTube. I am live streaming on YouTube this morning. I've been doing it for several weeks now on both, and you can find me over there. My handle is Wheeler8Acres. I am also on Favorited, and there is a link on the link tree if you want to follow me on Favorited. That could be a possibility for me down the road. I have not officially decided on that particular app. However, I'm for sure going to be over on YT because I'm currently on there. So Queen 530 says, I've got to go to my meetings. Have a great weekend, Queen. Thanks for being here this week and following along. We sure love having you here. So I'm going to do this last cluster here and show you guys how I did this. Okay. So into this space here, I'm going to start a double crochet. I'm going to do a 4 together double crochet cluster. Okay. So I start my first double crochet. I do not finish it. I just leave this loop undone. Okay, now into this space here, I do another double crochet. I start it. Again, holding, do not finish. Here's number 3. We need a total of 4 of these. Okay, again, do not finish. You can see 1, 2, 3. And now I need number 4. So right back down into that space, grab up your loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And again, do not finish. Okay. So you can see now here we have our 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4 unfinished. And then over here on the right is the starting loop. Then I yarn over and pull through all 5. Karen said, I can't find you on Facebook. If you look for April Wilson or Karen, just put in Wheeler 8Acres. I have so many videos that are tagged with that handle. It'll come up. But it's a picture of me and my husband sitting on a wall in Lynchburg at the Jack Daniels distillery is what the picture is of my profile. Okay, but I think if you put in Wheeler 8Acres, you should be able to find it. I'm my name on Facebook is April Wilson. Okay. So there's our last little cluster together. So when you finish these clusters, guys, once you drag through all 5, okay, then you're going to yarn over and do a chain, pull through, and then do a second chain. Now I'm going to join to the top here. I don't like to join in this stitch here because it's so stretched out when I do the standing. I like to join in this second stitch. All of this is going to get woven in, but I'm going to join with a slip stitch. Okay, so slip stitch, snip off, another tail to weave in. Okay, so there is our little flower. We've just done 16 of these petals, if you will. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to do this little magic where we take this round shape and we turn it into a square. So if you are first learning how to do this, it looks more complicated than it is, okay? So what I like to do, we did 16 of these petals. A square is 4-sided. So if you do 16 divided by 4, that will tell you that we need 4 petals per side. So you can see here, I have a corner here, and then I have a corner here, and I have 4 petals. So if you are brand new and you're having a hard time figuring this out, get your stitch markers, put one in this is now marking a corner, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I put in another stitch marker. Here is another corner. 1, 2, 3, 4. You could put in another one here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and here is your last corner. I don't have another stitch marker, but you could put one in there. Okay, I'll start in this corner. And you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. So now, wherever these stitch markers are, you're going to work your corner. Okay, so if we go back to our example, you can see here in the corner, these are treble crochets. And in between, we have a chain of 2. So the way that I worked this is in between these corners, you can see there's a corner here and a corner here. This is 3 treble crochets, chain 2, 3 treble crochets. Then what we have to do is get smaller until we get to this very center part here. So this next space here in between these petals has 3 double crochets. Then in the very center here, we do our smallest, which are 3 half doubles. Then we're going to get bigger as we work back out to this corner. So we're back to 3 double crochets. And then over here, we're back to our trebles. And we're going to repeat that all the way around. So let me get my white yarn now. And again, I'm going to start with a standing double crochet. If you feel more comfortable just tying on, that's totally fine too. But you're going to work into this first corner space here. And I'm going to do a standing treble. So in order to do that, I wrap my yarn around twice. I go down into the space, use my thumb to hold that tail, yarn over, grab up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So that is our first treble crochet. Now we need 2 more treble crochets right into that same stitch. Okay, right into that. Oops, I messed up. My brain doesn't like to do trebles sometimes. I like to do doubles. So wrapping around twice sometimes messes me up. Okay, so there's our 3 trebles. Chain 2. Now right into this same space, because it's a corner, we need 3 more treble crochets. Again, this is our very biggest of these stitches, the very tallest, I guess I should say. Okay, so there is our 3 trebles, chain 2, 3 trebles. Now into this first space here, we're going to do 3 double crochets. So again, here's our tallest. Now we're going to get a smidge smaller. So work 3 double crochets. And I don't do any chains or anything in between these, guys. If you feel more comfortable doing a chain, you totally could. But there is our 3 doubles. Okay. Now we're going to get even smaller over here. And in this space, we're going to do 3 half doubles. So there's 1 and 2 and 3. So there's our very shortest stitch. So can you see how it's big here? And now it's getting smaller, smaller, smaller. Now we're headed back out the other side. Here's our corner marker. So now we need to resume with our double crochets. We're going to get bigger now as we head out to this corner. So 3 double crochets. Okay. Now I'm going to pop out this stitch marker, and into this corner, we're going to go back to this corner stitch, which is our 3 trebles, chain 2, 3 trebles. So here we go. Go slower on the half ones. Okay, Tanya. Guys, I might miss some comments today. When I'm explaining these stitches sometimes, because I'm trying to crochet and explain, sometimes I'll miss some comments. If you're a new follower, please, please do not take it personal, okay? I'm not trying to ignore you or overlook you. I really appreciate the fact that you're here. And we all do, in fact. This is a fabulous little crochet community. So, feel free to ask your questions. The mods will try to help pin the comments so that I will answer them. Hey, Jenny from New York, good morning. So there is our corner, 3 trebles, chain 2, 3 trebles. Okay, so now this is one side of the square that we're working. We're going to continue working this until we get it completely square. So let's pause. We've had a lot of new people come on. Let me start at the beginning here and kind of give you guys the rundown. There isn't a pattern for this. This is a variation of, what is that? The sunburst granny. It's like a variation of that. So you'll be able to find this pattern over on my YouTube. You could watch it later. Okay. So after we're done with the live, I publish it out. They take about 24 hours to process and then I edit it. We started with a magic ring, or you could do a chain of 3 or 4. Here's a chain of 4. So you can see how that center is round there. Here's a little tighter center. And I did 16 double crochets into the magic ring. Then I do 2 together double crochets in between each of these posts. So you have 16 of these white ones. Then we came back and we did 4 together double crochet clusters. Again, in between the white spaces, we did 16 of these. Now we're coming back and we're turning this circle that we have into this square. Okay, so that's where we're at right now. This yellow yarn that is in the very center is Caron 1 pound, and it is called Sun Yellow. The magenta yarn that I'm using is Big Twist Value, and it is the color magenta. The variegated yarn is also Big Twist Value. This is what it looks like. And it is the colorway Warm Brights. Now, all of these yarns are 4 weight, 100% acrylic, and I am using a size H8 hook. Okay. So what we're doing is we're working along these sides now. So when you're in your corners, these are your very tallest stitch. You have 3 trebles, chain 2, and then 3 trebles. Now into this next space, we're going to get a little smaller. So I did 3 double crochets. Now into this very center spot here, this is our other corner. You can see I've got it marked here. We're going to do 3 half doubles. So the way you do a half double, for the person that needed to know, you wrap your yarn around, you go down into that space, and you grab up a loop. So now we have 3 loops on our hook. And now what we're going to do is yarn over and pull through all 3 of those stitches. That is your half double crochet. So again, we're going to yarn over. Is anybody else freezing? Tanya, maybe come back in and go out and come back in, maybe if you can. It might, I don't know if anybody else is freezing. Okay, so then we're going to yarn over, go back down into that space, grab up a loop. We have 3 stitches now, yarn over and pull through all 3. So again, that is your half double. Oh, Tanya's the one that asked. Okay, let me wait for Tanya to get back. Gen X girl says, I'm cold, I'm freezing. Yeah, she's talking about the weather. Silly, silly. Guys, while we're waiting for Tanya here, real quick, Tanya, let us know if you're back in the room, and I'll show you the half double. I could show you on another side here as well. I'll keep crocheting, guys. But I did do the 10,000 giveaway of the blocking board. Okay. There's a video on my TikTok, but Donna was the winner. Now we have a couple Donnas. So Donna, if you're on this morning, I sent you a DM as well. Let me know your address and we'll get that shipped out to you. But very exciting that we gave away the blocking board. And Donna, thank you for supporting the channel. And not just Donna, but thank you everybody for supporting me and supporting the channel and supporting each other. It's really cool. Tanya is back. Tanya, I'm going to show you when we get over here on this side, okay? We'll do some more half doubles. So guys, here I am to the corner. I'm going to remove my stitch marker. It's telling me that we're to the corner. And you'll remember in the corner, we have our very tallest stitches here. Tanya, I'm sorry, saying it wrong. Tanya, good morning. Okay, so into this corner, we need 3 treble crochets. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so there's your treble. So again, to make a treble, you wrap your yarn around twice. You have your original starting loop on your hook, right down into the space. Thank you, Dee. Have a good day. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so there's treble crochet number 2. Now we need a third treble. Okay, now we chain 2, and into this space again we need 3 treble crochets. Okay, so your corners are 3 trebles, chain 2, 3 trebles. I'm going to weave in this tail later. Just move that to the back. Okay, so here is our other corner space here. We're working towards this. So what we need to do is we need to get from tall down to short and then back up to tall again. So into this first space here, we're going to do a double crochet, okay, and just get a tiny bit smaller. We need a total of 3 double crochets into this space. Okay, so now we're going to get even shorter, and into this space here, I'm going to do the half doubles. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to wrap our yarn around, put our hook right into that space, grab up a loop. So now you have 3 loops on your hook, and all you do is yarn over and pull through all 3. That is a half double crochet. So we'll do this a couple more times slow. Yarn over into that space, grab up a loop. Again, now we have 3 loops. Yarn over and pull through all 3. Okay, again, yarn over into that space, grab up a loop. Here you can see we have 3 loops. Yarn over, pull through all 3. Okay, so that is your half double. Very easy. Now we're going to get bigger as we head to this corner. So into this next stitch here, we need 3 double crochets. Tanya, did that help? Are you good, you think? There's videos too. Just maybe Google and look on YouTube. Maybe you could find one also if you need some additional. Okay, so here we are at the very middle. That's our shortest, 3 double crochets. And now into this corner space, again, we've got it marked with our stitch marker. Pop that stitch marker out. And this is our very tallest of stitches. So like we did over here, 3 treble crochets, chain 2, 3 treble crochets. Okay, so right here, oh, I always forget, add that extra yarn over, 3 treble crochets. Macy, I haven't decided if I'm going to do anything with these, to be honest with you. Last week we had some folks on that were, talking about granny squares and having some challenges. So I thought I would just come on and kind of show how to do some of these different squares. Next week I'm going to do a regular granny square and just kind of show that. I think that's going to be on Thursday. Guys, now while I've got you all here, again, let's not get into politics, but if there is a TikTok shutdown, you can follow me on YouTube. Okay. And I'm live right now this morning on YouTube. So look for me. It's Wheeler 8 Acres, just like my TikTok. And you can find me over there. Okay. Also, there is on the link tree a link to favorited. I don't know if I'm going to, right now, I don't have enough followers to be able to go live on favorited, but that is a possibility as well. Okay, so for the, if anything happens, right, or when something happens, you can follow me over on YT, and there's people this morning over there watching me already. Some people have already started making a transition. So that's where you'll be able to find me. And then you can watch all the replays as well. Okay, so we did 3 double crochets, then we got smaller to half doubles, back bigger to 3 double crochets. And then here we're going to join with a slip stitch into this corner here. Okay, and I like to slip stitch all the way into the corner. That way it puts the tail in the corner and I can weave it in easier. So I'm going to snip off with the white. Okay. We're going to have lots of half double crochets coming next. Okay, lots and lots of half doubles. This square, you're going to get lots of practice. Okay, so there is where we're at right now. Now, what helps make this square really pop is I have come back in and I have added some rows of color as some accent rows. Guys, you do not have to do these accent rows. It's entirely up to you. You could stop right here. You could use these for a market bag. You could use these for a granny square blanket. You can mix and match these colors. This is this is perfectly square. You could totally use this into your project. Now, if you want to add some accent uh, rows, what I have done here is I've worked into the back loop only, and I have done a half double. Okay. And then I came with the next color. And again, in the back loop only, I did a half double. Now on this square here, I did three half doubles, chain two, three half doubles. I don't like that. I think it's too big. So when I do this next one in the corner, I'm going to do like I did here on this yellow, and I'm going to do two half doubles, chain two, and then two half doubles. So if we look at the size of these squares, sorry, Tanya, did I miss your question? Or Tanya, I keep getting your name wrong. I apologize. Right now, if you just do the white, you're at 5 inches. Okay. 5 inches is a lot of the size that people like to use for market bags. Now, if you want to go up bigger, I just keep adding these rows. And the biggest full size one I've got here is about 7 inches. Okay. So it adds a couple more inches on this square. So I'm going to show you how to do this. We're going to start with this magenta. Okay. And this magenta yarn that I'm using is Big Twist. And it is the colorway magenta. So for once, I'm calling it the color that it actually is. Tanya, I know you said it keeps freezing, but I think it's only freezing for you, hon. You're going to have to exit and come back in. Everybody else is, I think they're okay. So just if you're freezing up, you're going to have to exit and come back. I don't think it's the live, okay? So into the corner here, I'm going to start with a standing double, or excuse me, a standing half double. Okay, so the way that I do that is I wrap my yarn around, I hold my tail, and then I go into this space and draw up a loop, and then I yarn over and pull through all three. Okay, and then I yarn over, go back down into that space, again, draw up a loop, and yarn over and pull through all three. So there we have two half doubles. Okay, now I need to chain two, and then I do two more half doubles into this space. Okay, now this is our first stitch here. And instead of working in under both loops, I'm going to work in the back loop only. Okay, so if you look at a crochet stitch, I'll slide my little scissors under here. It has two bars. This bar that faces you is called the front loop. The one that is facing away from you is called the back loop. And sometimes patterns, they'll have you work under both loops. That's normal. Or they'll have you work just in this back loop. And the other thing is there is what is called a third loop sometimes. So if we turn our work sideways, this loop right here that you can see, this is called the third loop. And what I like to do when I work in the back loop only is I go under the back loop and the third loop. And I'll show you both ways. And the reason why I like to do this is because it adds a little more stability to these stitches. So you don't have to go under the third loop, but I'm going to do a half double. So again, yarn under, go under the back loop, grab up a loop, and yarn over and pull through all three. So when I do it in the back loop like this, do you see how it pulls this stitch up? We'll do a couple more here so you guys can see it. Again, I'm skipping the front loop. I'm leaving it behind, which is here. And you can see how those are kind of pulling up the stitches. So this is why I like to go in the third loop. I pull out these stitches. I'm going to redo this, and I'm going to go into the back loop and also the third loop. So you can see I've got both of those loops on my hook, and then I yarn over and pull through all three. Do you see how that now sits flush to this stitch and it doesn't create that big loop? That is what I am going for. So again, yarn over, I go under both the back loop and the third loop. You can see I've got them both there. Grab up a loop and then yarn over and pull through all three. And I will continue working in both of those loops all the way across. Now, when we leave behind the front loop, what happens is you're leaving behind this row of texture. Okay. So here's one little tip I can give you guys when you're working in the third loop. You yarn over. Now, normally when I go under a loop, look at how my hook is holding. And somebody asked me how I hold my hook. I hold it like a steak knife. Okay. I don't hold it like a pencil grip. Some people hold a pencil grip. I hold it more like a steak knife. So again, I yarn over, and normally when I go in a stitch, see how this is flat coming out? When I work in the third loop, I turn my hook more upright and I go at a down angle. Can you see how it's kind of sticking up in the air? That helps to get under that third loop a little easier. So I basically go kind of straight down and it will automatically grab that loop for you. So again, just turn it and go straight down, and you can easily grab those loops without having to like turn your work and stuff. So again, it's more of that type of. I've got a knot here holding me up. One second here, guys. Let me get some yarn out. So that's my little tip for you as you're doing these into the back loop and third loop. Okay, so yarn over. Again, you can see how I'm putting my hook more up and down, go straight down, and that will cause both those loops to slide onto your hook. Again, if you just want to work in the back loop only, you could totally do that as well. Either way, whatever you're comfortable with is completely fine. This just will give your project a little more stability and not have those stitches pull out so far as you're working them. And it just is kind of a nice way to do it. Okay, so you can see we've added this little pink. We've left behind the front loop. So here is this row of white. And now it's because of how it's rubbing against me, Mary. I'm pushing it into myself as I'm working on it. But it's flat. So it's just kind of how I'm working it. Um, I kind of hold them against me. Mary, is because I'm chubby. It's rubbing against my fat roll. Now into the corner, we're going to do 2 half doubles. And I just go straight into the corner with those guys. I don't worry about any back loops or anything. Your corners are a little different. And then again, chain 2 and then 2 more half doubles. Okay, so there is your corner. Now I'm going to resume working these half doubles into the back loop and the third loop. Is this helpful, guys, as we're talking about these third loops? Does anybody else work in the third loop like this? Is this a new concept? I know some of you guys that watch me all the time have seen this before. Um, let me know what your thoughts are on working on the third loop. Is this something brand new to you? Do you think it's cool? Thank you for the follow. Nerdy Joe, good morning. Thank you guys, everybody who is following. For those that don't know, my name is April, and I come on live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings at 7 Central Time. I'm just a hobby crocheter, and my I hop off at 8:30 so that I can go and do my 9 to 5 job. I do work full time, and so I just come on here and crochet with friends and have a little crochet and coffee chat. Although this morning I didn't even get my coffee. yet. I had so much going on. I picked the winner of the blocking board, so that was really exciting. And Corey said third loop. Okay, let's talk about this third loop again. I will let me work my way to the corner. But I am working in the back loop and the third loop right now. And I'll give my little demonstration again. So last stitch here. And now I'm going to work into the corner. Into the corner, we're going to do a half double, second half double, chain two, and then two more half doubles. So right into that corner space, half double, chain two, half double. Okay, so there's our corner. Um, Left-handed crocheter said 25 years of crocheting and never heard of the third loop. I feel the same about the instability. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I learned about this from Hooked on Sunshine. There is a gal that makes the Hooked on Sunshine videos. You guys know I'm working on the uh, for the fair this year. I'm working on my baby blanket. This is the Hooked on Sunshine whatchamacallit. Where I learned to go in the third loop, like I'm showing you today, is from the gal who does the Hooked on Sunshine tutorials. She's really I really enjoy watching her. So what we're talking about is when you are looking at crochet stitches, normally you go under the top two bars. The one that is facing you is called the front loop. The one that is away from you is called the back loop. If you turn your stitches, there is a third loop sitting right here behind your work. And so what I am doing today, I am skipping the front loop. I'm working in the third loop, but I'm also working in the back loop and this third loop. Okay. And so, uh, yeah, Macy said, I love her accent. I do too. She has this really cool, like English accent, and she's just a pleasure to watch. I have learned so much. Oh, Tanya, I see you over on YouTube now. Awesome. Awesome. I hope that's working better for you. Okay. So, guys, I'm going to do a half double. I yarn over. I'm going to show you the two different ways. Okay. So I go under the back loop, draw up a loop, and then I yarn over and pull through all three. So what happens when you go under the back loop only like this? Do you see how these stitches pull taller? And what I'm talking about is this white yarn here. Because we're only going under one stitch, this makes this really like come up. Now you can pull this out and it'll get back squished in. But in my opinion, this just makes it like kind of not as strong. I like to go under two loops. So what I do instead is I go under the back loop, but I also go under the third loop. So if we look at this, here's the back loop right here. This is the third loop that sits on the back of your stitch. And then I grab up a loop, yarn over, pull through two. Do you see how that is more stable though? It's not sitting up as tall. I'm going to do the same thing here. So I yarn over and I go under both stitches. Okay, so here's the back loop and here is the third loop. Yarn over and then pull through all three. So it just makes it a lot more secure. Pam says, I had never used the third loop until I did the wild oleander scarf. I think it's becoming more popular. Macy, the puppy is good. He's over here on his bed. I'll bring him up at the end of the live. You guys can see our new little puppy that we got if you haven't seen him. But I want to try to get through this square before I run out of time. So again, yarn over, go under both the back loop and the third loop, bypass that front loop, and I'm just doing a half double the whole way down. And the reason why I'm doing in these two loops is I want to leave behind this little line of texture. This is left behind with the front loop. You do the third loop every time. It's called back loop only. If you do the back loop only, you're going in just this stitch. I'm not going in just that stitch. I'm going in that stitch, and I'm going in the stitch back here, which is the third loop. So I'm going under 2 stitches, the back loop and the third loop. Now, the way that I do this, I typically, when I go under stitches, I go more at a flat angle like this with my hook. When I do the third loop also, I change the angle of my hook and I make it go more of a pointing down. So there you can see there's the back loop and the third loop, but I access it, I put my hook more of an upright angle, and that helps me to grab that loop a little easier. So change the angle of your hook and that'll help you kind of just slide right down under both those stitches. So the back loop and the third loop. If you want to go in the back loop only, you totally can. There's no rules in crochet that says you have to do it the way that I'm doing it. I'm just trying to show how I like to do it when I work in the back loop only is really I don't. So let's see. Do you ever use stacked double stitch on the ends? It's confusing. Uh, when I no, when I start mine, I start with a standing or in this case, a standing half double crochet. I like to start with a standing stitch. So that's my preference. But everybody does their first stitch a little different. I prefer to do a standing, uh, either a single crochet, half double. When I did this, I did a standing treble crochet. I just like the look of that better. So in the corners here, I did 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. Can somebody tell me what time it is? I'm not, I want to make sure I'm doing okay on time. I've still got 2 more rows to go here, and I can't see my clock. So, oh gosh, 27 new messages. Sorry guys, I'm 8:13. Oh, I gotta hurry. Um, I might go a little long today on the live. Uh, 8:13. Okay, okay. Thank you guys. Okay, so I'm going to keep moving along on this. We have a couple more rows to go, and I am going to have to go to work. So let me work along these. We're going to do lots more of these when I change color. We're going to do them in yellow next, and so you'll see these a lot more. But I want to get through this entire square. That way, when we replay it on YouTube, everything will be there. Okay, so again, I'm just working a half double. And instead of working in the back loop only, I'm working in the back loop and the third loop. No, I mean, when you're doing blankets, it's just a general question, the stacked stitch. I've not done the stacked stitch, Jennifer. Maybe somebody else can answer that question. I personally have not done that. There's some stitches that I haven't really dabbled in yet. I learn new things every day, so it's not to say at some point I won't do it, but I am not familiar with the stacked stitch. I don't know that I've ever done it. So here I am to the corner, guys. I'm going to slip stitch into this corner, and then I'm going to snip off the magenta, okay? And we're going to change color again. So I have lots of ends to weave in, but that's just kind of the way it goes with these squares when you're changing lots of fun colors. Okay, so we've added our magenta row. The corners, again, 2 half doubles, chain 2, 2 half doubles, and then I worked a half double the entire way around, and I worked it into the back loop and the third loop, okay? So now if we go back to our example, now you can see we're gonna switch to our yellow color, and I'm gonna do the exact same thing as we just did, and we're gonna leave behind this little row of texture of the magenta yarn. And then after we're done with the yellow, I came back and I just did a row of single crochets all the way around, ending my square in white. Again, you don't have to do that. You could, you could eliminate that. The yellow that I'm using is Caron 1 pound. And this is the colorway Sun Yellow. The magenta that I use today is Big Twist. The colorway is Magenta. And the variegated yarn that I used is also Big Twist value, and it is the colorway Warm Brights. The white that I'm using is Red Heart Super Saver Jumbos in the colorway white. Okay, so I'm going to start with a standing half double crochet. I add a slip knot to my hook. Now, guys, as I'm working on any type of granny square, I ended here. You can see my tail. I like to rotate my square and choose a different corner. This helps keep your square in perfect shape. Okay, so rotate to a different corner, and now I'm going to do a standing half double into this corner. Now, if you feel more comfortable tying on and doing a chain of two, you could do that as well. But I'm going to start with the half double. Again, into the corners, we need two half doubles, chain two, and two half doubles. Okay, so there is our corner. Now, again, I'm going to work all these stitches across, and I'm going to work a half double in the back loop. Let's see. Amy said I could watch April all day crochet. I'll tell you what, Amy, I could crochet all day too. Uh, but I do have to go to work. Somebody's got to pay for all this yarn I keep dragging in here. Oh my gosh, I went to Ollie's last night and I got a whole bunch. Ollie's, Ollie. We have one in our area, and their flyer came out, and they're having a sale. They had Red Heart jumbos for $4.99. So of course I went down there last night. Okay, so in the corner, whenever you have a stitch here, the top of this stitch sits to the right of your work. So you sometimes have to pull back your corner to reveal this stitch. This is the first stitch. When I work these half doubles, I like to skip the first stitch. It's just a preference that I have. I like the look of the square better, but you guys could work in that stitch if you want. I do not. And then what I do is I work into the back loop a half double crochet. Now I'm just going to kind of go through this one more time so that you guys can see this. I am working in the back loop only. So what we mean by this, when you look at a crochet stitch, there are two bars. The one that faces you, this one here, is the front loop. This one here is the back loop. And what I'm doing is I'm going in the back loop only. Now, here's the thing. When I go in the back loop, do you see how this pulls up like this and stretches these stitches out? I do not like the look of that. So what I like to do is I like to utilize the third loop of your stitch. So here's the front loop. Here's the back loop. If you turn your work to the side, there is a hidden third loop here. And so what I'm doing is I'm not going in this stitch. I'm going under the back loop, under the third loop. And that way I'm using two bars to go under those stitches. Okay, so I'm going to pull out these stitches. I don't like these because of how they pulled up tall. And now get this back into shape. Yarn over. Again, I go under the back loop and I go under that third loop. So here they are, those two stitches, yarn over, and then I yarn over and pull through all three. Okay, so again, yarn over, go under the back loop and find that third loop and go under him, and then yarn over and pull through all three. Do you see how that sits closer into your work and is more stable, secure, strong, however you want to describe that? That's how I like to do this stitch. Now, normally when I work in the back loop only, I would go at an angle where my hook kind of sits flat like this. When I work in the third loop and the back loop, I change my hook angle and I point it more down. So can you see how this is more in the air? That will help you slide under both those bars. Okay. So change the angle of your hook, go straight down, and you will be stabbing right through both of those bars without any issues. Okay. Thank you guys so much for the gifts this morning and for all the screen taps. 6.7 thousand over here on TikTok. Thank you all so much. And thank you guys for thumbs up on the YouTube if you're watching over there. I appreciate you giving the video a thumbs up. That certainly helps me. Thank you guys all so much. So I hope everybody has had a great week this week. And thank you for all the new followers. If you are not familiar with my channel, my name is April, and I go live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings at 7 Central Time. I live in Northeast Alabama, and here I am to the corner. Into the corner, I'm going to do 2 half doubles, chain 2, and then 2 half doubles. Okay, so that's our corner. But you can see this nice little ridge of texture starting to form. Do you see it there? We've got our pink ridge and our white ridge. Really, really cool. Really nice. I love it. Okay, so now I'm going to continue working this yellow. Again, I'm going under the back loop and under the third loop, and I'm going to work this all the way around. And I'm coming up on the time. What I was saying is I work in Arizona remote. And so I have to get off usually around 8:30. That way I can go to do my full-time job. And so anyhow, I'm just a hobby crocheter, but we have a fabulous group of friends here. And we do have a Discord. The link on the link tree is not working for the Discord. I will update that after the live. So if you're watching, be sure and give a follow. Also, you can find me over on YouTube in the event of a TikTok shutdown, as we all know is coming, possibly. We don't know. Let's not get into politics, but you can follow me over on YouTube. My handle is Wheeler8Acres. And I am live this morning, both on TikTok and on YouTube. I have been live on YouTube for quite a while now. So feel free to give me a follow over there if you want to continue to watch and see me in the event that something happens. If nothing happens, you'll be able to just find me right here on TikTok. We all don't know. The other thing on my link tree, we have a link for my favorited account. That is a possibility as well to go on favorited. I do not have enough followers on favorited to be able to go live over there, but that is a possibility in the future as well. So if you're on favorited and you want to give me a follow, there is a link to my profile on my link tree. But all of my handles on everything social, guys, is Wheeler8Acres. Over on Facebook, my name is April Wilson. Also Wheeler8Acres over there, but it's not a business account or anything. It's just my personal account. So let's see. I see wrap your yarn around needle one way and then wrap it another. So I think what you mean, excuse me, I'm getting a little hoarse from talking. I wrap my yarn around. I do a yarn over on my hook here, and I go into the stitch. Now, technically, I should do another yarn over like this, where the yarn comes across the top of my hook. I learned 40 years ago, and what I do is a yarn under. So technically, my yarn comes under my hook when I pull this through. I do it consistently every single time the way that I do these stitches. I always pull it through like this. So my stitches look very consistent. But technically, if you were to ask the crochet police, I think they would tell you that I do my stitches incorrectly. I yarn over instead of yarn under. I would make the argument that there are no rules in crochet and I can do it however I want. The key is do it consistent, right? If you're going to do a yarn under, do it the same way every single time. But that is an explanation of why I do my stitches. So it's just the wrong way that I do it. And after 40 years, I don't know that you're going to teach this old dog a new trick. And I don't know that there's any value in me trying to reprogram my brain. I think, I'm good with the quality of my crocheting with the way that I do it, but I hope that helps answer, why I do what I do, I guess. uh, uh, Princess said, wait, there's a different way. Yeah. Betty says, who makes the rules? Uh, so yeah, there's ways to do yarn under. So when you go yarn over, this means the yarn is coming over the top of your hook. Yarn under means it's coming under your hook. And like when you do amigurumis, sometimes they'll tell you to do a yarn under. So I yarn over. The yarn you can see here is over the top of my hook. I go down into this space. I'm going to make a half double crochet. Technically, I should put the yarn over the top of my hook. See how it's coming over the top? I do it different. I go under and I pull it through. See how the yarn is shifted underneath? So yes, I do it different. I do a yarn under and I do it consistently because when I learned, I just push my hook through and grab, right? I grab it. It's faster. It's easier for me rather than if you do the yarn over, right? Then I have to turn my hook. This way I just grab it and pull it through. And technically that is a yarn under. So right, wrong, who makes these rules like Betty said? Uh, it just is the way that I do it. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up this yellow row here, guys. Let me breeze through this because it is time for me to head to do uh, my full-time job. However, I want to get to this white row so that we have this documented over on YT when we go back and rewatch this tutorial. Not just for you guys, but for me. I have to go back and watch my own stuff because I can't remember what I did yesterday, let alone 3 months from now. So again, I'm just working a half double in the back loop and the third loop all the way along this edge of this square, adding this yellow row of accent. So it's just there for aesthetics. You could end this square at the white if you feel more comfortable with that. That's a 5-inch square, which is kind of a desired size for a granny square. Now into this, I'm going to join with a slip stitch into the corner, and I am going to snip off, and then I am ready to resume my white color. So I'm going to go a little long here as we head off, but here's where we're at so far. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and I am going to add this row of white. Again, you don't have to do this. I like to just add what I call a stabilizing row. I did a single crochet the entire way around. I also worked in the back loop and the third loop as well. In the corners, I did a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. So this just helps me kind of get this a finished edge, and then I can sew all of these together. So you could use these. If this big size might be a little big for like a market bag, but you could trim this down, however you wanted to do that. So into the corner here, I'm going to do a single crochet, chain 2, and then a single crochet. Now again, I like to skip this hidden stitch and work into the second stitch, and I'm just going to do a row of single crochets the whole way down. I'm skipping the front loop, I'm working under the back loop, there's the back loop, and I'm also grabbing the third loop for stability. I'm adding that in there as well. And I'm just going to go the entire way around with a row of single crochets. And again, I'm working in the back loop and the third loop. So again, I kind of take my hook and I put it kind of upright and I go straight down, and that grabs those 2 loops. And then I yarn over and I do a single crochet. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do with these squares. Last week I had some folks that were watching ask some questions. They needed help with their granny squares, and their I figured I'd just come on and do a flower kind of tutorial. If people had questions, they could ask. And so I don't know that I'm necessarily going to do anything. I'll just put these on the Ring of Madness, and maybe at some point down the road I'll do something with these. But I don't have any plan or anything to do anything with these squares. It was just more to kind of show you guys everything. And again, into the corner here, single crochet, chain 2, and then single crochet. Thank you guys all so much for the follows this morning. If you don't know, my name is April, and I come on live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings at 7 Central. But there you can see how that added row of white kind of makes a nice little finished edge. So again, completely optional. You don't have to do that. I'll just continue working this around. If you're interested in making this square and you missed part of today's tutorial, you can find me over on YouTube. My
name over there. My handle is Wheeler 8 Acres. I also live stream my bird feeders, and we have a deer camera. I live in Northeast Alabama. We're in a small town, and I have lots of critters that come in. That's my other second like hobby and passion. So you can see my bird feeders and that kind of stuff. Also, I've got some crochet videos. If you want to rewatch a live that was done from before, you need to go on the live tab of my profile. So there's a tab that says videos, there's a tab for shorts, and then there's a tab for live. And you can catch all the live replays if you want to go back. If you get stuck on something, you can go back and rewatch that video. It's not, obviously a like formal clinical like training. My lives, I kind of talk about stitches and that kind of stuff. And so you have to kind of go back and rewatch it with all the commentary, but you can fast forward it, you can slow it down, you can speed it up, however you want to do it. It has lots of those capabilities. So I encourage you to give me a follow over on YouTube if you are not already. I know a lot of you guys are. But I will be back on next week, and there's already live events scheduled out. Obviously, we'll see what happens with TikTok. I think last I heard was the 19th. In the event of TikTok is no more, you will be able to find me live on YouTube. Also, favorited. Somebody asked what is favorited. It's a similar style app for going live, like creators do, like myself on TikTok. They don't have any like video posting or anything. I don't know that I'm going to necessarily go live on favorited, but I do have an account there if you want to follow me. That is a possibility. I can 100% guarantee in the event that there is no more TikTok in the United States. I know I have people from all over that watch me. Uh, if it's no longer in the United States, I will be on YouTube for my live streams. Okay. So make sure you're following me over there. A lot of you guys watch me already, and we can all meet up there and have our same kind of crochet chats in the morning. But I hope everybody had a great week this week and into the weekend. I hope you all have big plans and get all your crochet in or whatever you're going to work on this weekend. Like I said, I have fun stuff lined up for next week already. I'm working very hard to get some of my projects kind of wrapped up. And we did give away the blocking board. Donna was the big winner for the 10,000 follower celebration. So I did DM Donna, and I'm going to join here with a slip stitch. And we've finished our little square. Let me snip off. Really pretty square. Obviously, I still need to weave in all my tails. This is what the back looks like in case you're curious with all my tails, but you can kind of see how it looks. Really pretty on the back, but here is what the front looks like. So again, from the white part here, this is 5 inches. If you add the additional rows, this gets you 7 inches, but this is what this square looks like. And so, anyhow, Yop said I'm a very good multitasker. Yeah, it's a lot to crochet and talk and answer questions, and I am live both on TikTok and on YouTube. So it definitely is a challenge to do all of that. We have 97 ish watching over here on TikTok. I really appreciate everybody who tuned in this morning. This has been a really fun live. Um, if you guys are interested, I could make another one of these at some point on the live. So, I could do that as well. We'll just play it by ear and see if there's more interest down the road. As far as Red Note, I have not looked on Red Note. I've kind of heard I'm on Maggie, Maggie Unicorn. I'm sure a lot of you guys follow her. A lot of people said that Red Note is not very secure. So I'm not too keen on Red Note. I feel safe on YouTube. I feel like it's a safe platform for my community and my followers. So definitely, if you are if you want to follow me, if there is a TikTok shutdown, which again we don't know, it's all speculation at this point, follow me on YouTube, Wheeler 8 Acres. If you want to find me on Facebook so you can keep in contact, my name is April Wilson. Again, it's under Wheeler 8 Acres. It's a picture of me and my husband sitting on a bench in Lynchburg, Tennessee at the Jack Daniels tour is what you're looking for. And Anyhow, we'll just have to wait and see. But I definitely want to keep in contact with all you guys. You're a huge part of my life and my lives, and y'all are my friends. So for sure, let's be sure and keep those communication channels open. So everybody wants to know if they can see the puppy. So let me get my yarn out of my lap and see if I can coax him over here. He's over there asleep. So let me move this yarn. Come here, buddy. Diesel. Diesel, come see mom. Come see mom. You want to go up the elevator? You want to go up the elevator? Come on. Come on, baby. All right. Hi. Hi, buddy. Come on, Diesel. Come on. Let's go up the elevator. All right. Here we go. Okay. Hi. Let's say hi to everybody. This is our puppy, Diesel. We just got him last Friday. So he's a purebred German Rottie. He's chewing on everything right now. But you can see pictures of him over on my Facebook. And like I said, his name is Diesel. And we just love him. We had a Rottweiler when we lived in Arizona, and we gave him to our friend when we moved. But he's a sweet boy when he's not chomping on everything. And so today is the first day that we had a live without me having to pause and uh, kind of help little Diesel out. And so anyhow, he's the sweetest little puppy. So Mr. Wheeler and I are very excited to have him, and he's gonna be a big boy, that's for sure. So American or Euro lines. He's a German Rottweiler. I don't remember. He is AKC. I'd have to look at his papers. But yeah, he is purebred. He was kind of expensive, you guys. I'll tell you that. But he's worth it. Our little monster here. He's a sweetie. So anyhow, very excited. I'm sure y'all will see more of Mr. Diesel as time goes along and as he continues to grow. But it's hard for me to crochet with him here in my lap. Yeah, he is tired right now. He has been running around during the entire live, chomping on bones and just playing and everything. So yeah, he's definitely a bit worn out. And if I didn't have to go to work, you guys, I think he would totally sleep right here in my lap. But he's a good boy. Huh, you're a good boy. Yeah, you're a good boy. So, anyhow, really cute. Guys, I hope you all have a fabulous weekend. I'm going to head off to work. And oh, for the subscription, guys, if you're a subscriber, I will still do that subscriber giveaway for TikTok. Okay, if it shuts down, it's the yarn, and I have all of you guys listed down. So don't fret. But if you are a subscriber, please make sure you're following me over on YouTube. So that way, if you are a winner of the subscriber giveaway, you can, claim that. Okay. So you'll want to be able to contact me. Follow me on Facebook, something. Okay. April Wilson, Wheeler 8 Acres. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off. Bye for now. Have a great weekend.